Yes, people, a very, very happy month, all of you. So, guys, we are doing this chapter called as accounting process. Now, in this accounting process, in particular, the last segment of unit 1, that is after journal, the last segment was accounting for GST. This I kept on hold. I said we will do other parts of the chapter, for example, ledger, trial balance, and then at the end, we'll come back to this topic. So, yes, here we begin with the brand new concept where we are going to learn, first of all, what is the meaning of GST, and then how do we do the accounting for GST. Guys, this unit in particular got recently introduced when the new scheme was announced. I hope all of you are aware, especially if you have attended my career guidance program. I had mentioned that up to 2023, we had one scheme of foundation course, inter and final course. In 2024, the entire CA course underwent a change. Right? There was a lot of changes that were done invariably at the various levels of the CA. Like that, few of the topics in the accounting got deleted, and few from the intermediate was carried forward or brought to down to the CA foundation level. Some topic got introduced newly. So this topic got newly introduced only in the year 2024 when the new scheme was launched. Until then, we didn't have the concept of accounting for GST in the syllabus. Right? But I feel this topic essentially is very, very important for everyone to understand what is GST and how the accounting needs to be done. To be more precise, the bigger aspect of GST, the larger concept of the GST, you will study where in the CA intermediate. Group 1, paper 3, which talks about taxation. In that, you have two tax papers. One is income tax, one is indirect tax, that is GST. So there actually in-depth GST you learn. Here GST, what we're learning is just a summary of the important concepts which is relevant or connected to the accounting aspect of it. So we'll have a very small discussion, and this discussion is exactly equal to the discussion what we had in 11th CBSE. So all those who are coming from CBSE background, this topic is already been dealt with in the 11th standard. Same thing, same level is being continued in the CA foundation level also. For metric people, this is a brand new topic you're learning for the very first time, but it is an easy one. Initially, you might take a time to understand what is happening, but with multiple revisions that I do, the multiple questions that we practice, things could get better eventually. Right? All set? Can we start? Wonderful. Now, please tell me, what is the meaning of GST? Wonderful. So, goods and service tax. Meaning of GST is goods and service tax. Abbreviation of GST or full form of GST is goods and service tax. As meaning of GST. Meaning is different, full form is different.
Tax levied on goods and services.
Wonderful. So tax levied on goods and services is called as goods and service tax. Wonderful. This is meaning. Now, GST stands for, as rightly said by Julie, goods and service tax. Goods and service tax. Goods and service tax. Before we understand what is goods, what is service, we have to first understand what is the meaning of tax. Then eventually understand what is service and what is goods. All of you are familiar with the terms goods and service. But what is tax here, you have to understand. Are you ready? Can we start? Wonderful. Now, sir, what is tax? Tax is not a voluntary payment. It is not a voluntary payment. But, and enforced means what? Compulsory contribution. You are compulsorily giving this money. Exacted means taken from you pursuant to the legislative authority. So the government of India has laid down a compulsion on us, and under that compulsion only we are paying tax to the government. Is there anyone here in this room or any of your parents here? Government, you want tax? Oh, take, I have too much money. Take this money also. Take this money also. Anybody will voluntarily pay? Government, you need money? You don't have paisa? Take. Like that, will you ever say no? How will you give money to tax? I mean, how will you give tax to government? Government, you want tax? Government is coming to take. Means what? You have to pay. You have to pay compulsory, but you don't have the intention. You don't have the heart to pay the money. Why? Because it's your hard-earned money. It's your hard-earned money. So it is not easy to pay this hard-earned money to somebody just like that free of cost. That is why the government had to compel that you have to pay this tax. It is a compulsion of law. Which law? Various tax laws. We have income tax law, we have GST law. So under that law, you've been compelled that you have to pay this tax. So a tax is never a voluntary payment. Voluntary means what? You go and give a money to the government voluntarily. Government, take this money. No. Had the compulsion not been there, nobody will pay tax. So first of all, tax is not a voluntary payment, but it is enforced contribution. Means what? It is a compulsory payment that you have to do. Why? Because it is exacted pursuant to the legislative authority. Means as per the law, or because of the law, you are forced to make this payment. In simple words, tax is nothing but money that the people have to pay. Money that the people have to pay to the government. Government here means both central government and state government, which is used. Now the question is, sir, why do we have to pay? Why do we have to pay the tax to the government? Multiple reasons I can give you. Latest example I'll give you now. What is happening between India and Pakistan now? Almost war. War is not declared. Almost the activities are more likely towards a war only. Now, what happened last 4-5 days? A lot of drones have been sent from the other counterpart. And what are we doing? We have a strong defense system, air defense system, which is knocking down all the drones. If those air defense systems is not there, that drones will come and get blasted on our land, and we'll have a lot of casualties. Now, to install that air defense system, what is required? So first of all, you have to purchase the air defense system. You have to manufacture that air defense system. For that, what is required? Paisa is required. For government to lay down a strong defense system, what is required? Money is required. Where will the government get money from? Us? Tax. Is the tax only source of government? No. Tax has got multiple source of revenue. Sorry, government has got multiple source of revenue. Government has got multiple source of revenue. In that, tax is biggest source of revenue for them. To have a strong defense system in place, government has to invest crores and crores of rupees in the defense system. Now, apart from this air defense system, we have to build a strong army, navy, air force, army people. So many people we have to recruit. From where the salary will come? They have to use so many weapons. Weapons purchase cost. From where will the money come? Air Force. They need to fly in aircraft. Rafale. So many aircraft is there. Crores and crores of rupees. From where it will come? It's all coming from the government. Government is getting money from where? You only. Us only. I'm able to follow. So like that, government is into multiple projects. Defense is one of the project where they're investing. Apart from that, they are also into infrastructure building. What is infrastructure building? If you see, there is a new bridge that is being constructed on Aminashi Road. Correct? Now, if you go further down towards Tirupur, E Road, you have highways. Again, there we have a lot of bridges. Who is doing all this construction? State government and central government. For that, what is required? Paisa is required. Money is required. From where will the money come? From where will the money come to government? Multiple sources are there for government, but tax is one of the primary source, biggest source of revenue for the government. Railway, who's building railway? Tata, Birla, Adani, Ambani are building railways? No. Who's building the railway? Government is building the railway. To have a strong railway system as we have now, what is required? First of all, we need to have a land where the railway tracks could be laid. Who will give the land free of cost? So we have to acquire land. We have to acquire land, acquisition of land. For that, you have to pay money to the landowners. Once the land is acquired, on that you have to lay down the railway tracks. The person who's coming and laying down the railway tracks, will he do it free of cost? No, he will charge money from government. Then what happens? On that train will travel. In that case, you have to construct the bogies of the train. From where that comes? Station. You have to, from where the money will come. So big infrastructure investment is done by the government. Then what else? What are the examples can you give? Infrastructure. Government hospitals. That is also infrastructure. Government hospital, GH we say, no? What happened? Online people, am I audible to all of you?
Sir.
Sorry, there was a Wi-Fi connection that got disconnected. Okay, online people, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry guys, there's some Wi-Fi
Yes, sir.
disconnection happening.
Yes.
1 second. Okay, wonderful. So we're discussing about the infrastructure that has been laid down by the government of India. For that, what is required? Money is required. From where the money comes? Multiple sources. In that, one of the primary sources, tax. Okay. Public security. Public security. Now, the air defense system, what we're talking about, the army that the country has built, the navy and the air force that the country has built, is for what? For the security of the public. Today, if you are sitting and listening to this class peacefully, when we go back home at night, when we sleep peacefully, it is because that we have our army people, navy and air force working relentlessly for last so many weeks. Their sleepless night is a reason behind our proper sleep in the night. So, to build a security system is not easy. We have to invest a lot of money on the defense system. We have to deploy so much manpower in all these three segments: army, navy, and air force. We have to give them equipments. We have to give them aircraft, tanks, etc. For that security, what do we need? Money. So now, with this tax, what you're contributing, the tax that you're paying to government, with the help of that money, the government builds a robust security system. And we're seeing a live example of that now. Public welfare. Public welfare. Can you give me one example of public welfare? Public welfare. Public welfare or public service. Subsidies. One solid example. COVID happened. The scientist was the reason behind discovering the vaccine for the COVID. Do you agree with me? Once the vaccine is being found out, is the person who invented the vaccine, is the person responsible to manufacture so many vaccine and get it delivered across the country? Do you think he'll have that potential? As a scientist, does he have the potential to do a large scale manufacturing and large scale what you call transportation of the medicines? Not possible. Pharmaceutical company did this. And when pharmaceutical company does all this, will they do that free of cost? Because they have to pay a huge money to the scientist to get the patent. Because the formula is registered in whose name? Scientist ka name. Pharmaceutical company has to pay hefty money to scientists. Pharmaceutical company has to pay hefty money to scientists to get the formula. And they start manufacturing. So manufacturing is huge cost process. And they have to deliver across the country. Is it easy? No. So pharmaceutical charge the money. But who paid that money? Did you pay the money for vaccines? Did you ever pay the money for COVID vaccines? No. It was being sponsored by the government. So from where the money came? From where money came for the government? It came from the taxes what you've paid. It came from the taxes what you've paid. So like that, governments are into multiple welfare. Government is launching multiple welfare schemes. For example, in recent times, we had floods in some cities. So when flood happens, the government, gives the aids to the flood affected people. So that is also nothing but public welfare, public service. So for all that, what is required, people? For all this, what is required? Money is required. And from where does this money come from? Government has got multiple sources of revenue. But in this, the biggest source of revenue for them is what? Tax. Biggest source. Majority source is tax. Now to understand, why are we supposed to pay tax to government? If we don't pay tax to government, if our government is not having sufficient money, it is not rich enough, then imagine the defense system will be that of Pakistan. How is their defense system? Screwed up, royally screwed up. Because that country have not generated sufficient money, neither for the public nor for themselves. But our government was, you also make money, I'll also make money. So over a period of last, 1 decade or 2 decades, imagine the amount of, the name, fame that we got in the international level. Imagine the amount of money that we have, made, how much GDP we have contributed to. All that is because of a strong government that we have. So it is very important that whatever money we earn, honestly, we have to pay taxes to government so that in the right time like this, that money could come into use. So following are the two major sources of revenue for the government. Tax is major source of revenue. In tax also there are two bifurcation. Following are the two major sources of revenue from government, that too from tax point of view. Tax is a major source, but in tax also they have two bifurcation, two category. One is called as direct tax and one is called as indirect tax. Direct tax is also called as income tax. The tax that we levy on your income directly is called as income tax. The tax that you charge on your income directly, you earn income, you have to pay tax. That is called as income tax. The charge that is done of tax on your income, not directly but indirectly, is called as indirect tax. So what is direct tax? So direct tax is tax imposed on the income. So if any person in the country is earning any income, any type of income, he has to pay tax on that. So the tax that he's paying on income is what tax? Income tax. Income tax is what classification? Direct tax. Guys, all of you loudly. Smile, nice, beautiful faces. Smile. அப்படி உருன்னு இருக்கீங்க. இங்க பார்த்த ரொம்ப பயமா இருக்கு எனக்கு. Have nice, all of you smile. All of you know to smile. Sanjay, smile. இதுக்கு மேல வராத. அப்ப நான் வந்து அப்படி இதான் பண்ண அப்புறம் நான். Now, example, income tax on what? Salary income, rental income, profits from business and profession, capital gain, interest income. Now, one by one. Income tax is a topic which you will study extensively in your CA intermediate. CA intermediate paper number 3. CA inter group 1 paper 3 comprises of 2 tax subjects, 50 mark income tax, 50 marks GST. So you'll be studying in the income tax the different heads of income, different heads of income tax. Now, there are 5 heads of income tax. I'm just giving a brief discussion part. There are 5 heads of income. First is income from the head's salary. Online teachers, please muted, no, if you're not talking. Yeah. Income from head salary. Income from the head house property. Income from the head PGBP. P means profit and gains on business and profession. P stands for profit. G for gain. Profits or gains on what? On the business or profession. Service people are into profession. Buying and selling goods is business. Service is profession. Then income from the heads. Capital gain. CG stands for capital gain. Income from the head, other sources. If you are a person who's doing job, what will you get in return for doing the job? You get salary. So when you're filing your income tax return, your salary income will be classified under which category? Income from the head salary category. This is the category which the income tax department has given in the Income Tax Act, Income Tax Law. Okay. Second, imagine apart from doing job, you have a property. And that property you've given on rent. You've given the property on rent. So we are earning rentals on the house property. Property is given on rent. So that where will you classify? Income from the head, house property. Rental income will come where? Under house property. If you're doing business, if you're doing any professional services, means you're buying and selling goods, you're giving service, you're a service provider, then you earn profits, no? You earn gains, no? That profits and gains that is coming from the business and profession is categorized under the head PGBP. Income from the head, profits and gains of business and profession. Property, you're given on rent, no? Now that property in one point of time you can sell also. So if I sell the property, I'll make a profit. That profit is recorded as capital gain. If I buy the property and I give the property on rent, when I get the rental income, that is recorded under house property. But the same property, I sell it, I'll make profit out of it. For example, I purchased an apartment worth 1 crore, sold it for 1 crore 20 lakhs. So what is my profit here? 20 lakh is the profit. This 20 lakh profit is called as capital gain because this profit is coming from the asset capital level. So any profit generated at the capital level is called as capital profit. And this capital profit is recorded under what head? Capital gains. So if I get rental income from the property, it is going under house property category. If I sell the property, from that if I'm getting any profits, I record in capital gains. I buy land, I sell land. Property. So where does it come? Capital gains. Then any other income that you earn, which does not fit in the above 4 category. Any other income that you earn which does not fit in the above 4 category will be recorded in the residual category called as other sources category. For example, I put the money in fixed deposit. Against that, what will I get in return? What will I get in return? Interest income. So can I put interest income in the salary category? No. House property category? No. PGBP? No. Capital gain? No. So where does it go? Other sources. I put extra money in share market. Against that, I'm getting dividend. Dividend is my income. Where will I record? Other sources. I went to Goa. Beach. Party, enjoyed. After that, what to do? I don't know. I went to casino. 1 lakh rupees I earned out of that. 1 lakh rupees I earned out of it. That 1 lakh rupees where I should classify? Sir, why are you showing that, sir? Don't show no. Huh? Everybody. So any money that you make on gambling, where will you show under? Other sources. Any other type of income, any other income will come under other sources. So now, all this I spoke about is what? Salary is your income. The rental income, what you get against the property is also your income. The profits, what you make in the business, also income. Gains that you get in your profession is also your income. Capital gain, capital profit, your income. Interest from the fixed deposit, your income. Dividend is your income. Gambling is your income. So, or whatever income you're earning in whatever forms, on that, if you're paying the taxes directly, it is called as what tax? Income tax. That's why this is called as direct tax. This is a direct attack on your income. A tax which is directly attacking your income is called as income tax. Any problem? On your face, they say, you have income, pay tax. If you have income, pay tax. On your face, when they come and collect the money on your income, that is what? Direct tax, income tax. Any problem? Online people, any problem?
Sir. No, sir.
Wonderful. Now, I want to know from all of you two things. One is about tax payment, one is tax remittance. Do you understand what is the difference between tax payment and tax remittance? If I ask you what is the meaning of tax payment or tax remittance, can you think, apply your logic, apply your common sense and tell me what could be the difference between tax payment and tax remittance? Apply your common sense, purely English language. Guess what is the meaning of tax payment and what is the meaning of tax remittance? Both are different. I'm telling you, both are different. Guess. Apply your mind. Even if it is wrong, that's okay. If the Guru answer, everybody's up. You're seeing so seriously into that poor fellow is getting scared now. Tell me, what is the meaning of tax payment? Tax payment, paying tax. Okay. Then what is tax remittance? Sorry? No. But good attempt. No. Tax payment means it is a process of paying the tax liability using their funds. If I'm paying tax from my pocket, the money is getting reduced from whose pocket? From my pocket. So tax payment means it is a person who is suffering the tax. Tax payment means what? From whose pocket the money is going. What is the meaning of tax remittance? Tax remittance is a process of handing over that tax to the tax authorities. Tax remittance means what? I am paying the tax from my pocket. From my pocket, the tax will go. In my pocket, I have 100 rupees. In my pocket, I have 100 rupees. In that, I'll pay 30 rupees to government. So 30 rupees is a reduction in my pocket. Correct? No? It's a dent in my pocket because I'm suffering that tax. So I'm a taxpayer. I'm paying tax. But remittance means what? This 30 rupees, who is responsible to hand over to government? Who is going to be the remitter of the tax? Should I be the remitter or should I deploy this work to somebody else? So in the income tax, in the direct tax, the government says that the person who is paying the tax, he is given the responsibility to remit the tax also. Which means if I am paying tax on my income, on my business profits, I am the person who's responsible to hand over this money to whom? Government. If I don't pay tax, or if I pay tax, but if I don't hand over the tax to government, I'll have to face the consequences. You will tell, sir, obviously no, sir. If you are paying the tax, you should be only the remitter. No, that is not the case for indirect tax. That is not the case for indirect tax. In the indirect tax, the taxpayer is a different person. Tax remitter is a different person. If you ask in income tax itself, there's a concept called as TDS. TDS, tax deducted at source. This concept is not there in your level, but one place this will come. Where you know? Interest on debenture. TDS was omitted in 12 CBSE. Now here the interest on TDS is covered. So that time I'll tell you what TDS is. In the case of TDS, the taxpayer is different, tax remitter is different. So TDS is a part of which act? Income Tax Act or GST Act? It is a part of income tax only. TDS is a part of your income tax, direct tax. But still, in the case of TDS, the taxpayer is different, tax remitter is different. Now, what is TDS? This is not the right time to discuss. When the right time comes, I'll discuss. Forget TDS part. If I'm earning salary, government says you are responsible to pay tax. Means what? From your pocket, you pay tax. And you will be the person to remit the tax also to me. If you don't pay the tax or if you don't remit the tax, you will face the consequences. What consequences? Interest will come, penalty will come. The amount is too much. And if there is some other fraud, forgery also sensed into it, you'll also be jail prosecuted. So it's a huge responsibility that the government is given to you. If you're earning income from the house property, rental income, you have to pay the tax, you have to deposit the tax to the government. So in the case of income tax, the person who is paying the tax, he's the same person who's going to remit the tax to the government, except in case of TDS. TDS is also part of income tax. But in that case, the person who's paying the tax is different and the person who's remitting the tax is different. Are you able to follow? Here, I'll not discuss that point. When I come to interest on debenture, that time I'll discuss this point. So tax payment is a process of paying the tax liability using their funds. So from whose pocket the money goes out? He's a taxpayer. And the person who's going to hand over the tax, that money, who's going to hand over? No, that person is called as remitter of the tax. Am I clear? In case of income tax, except TDS, the taxpayer and the tax remitter both are same. Tax paid and tax remitted by the individual who's earning the income. Whoever is earning the income, he is the person responsible to pay tax and also to remit the tax. However, TDS is an exception for the above process. In this case, the taxpayer is a different person, tax remitter is a different person. Am I clear with this point? Now, if this is clear, I'll go to this diagram. Direct tax or income tax analysis. ABC Limited is a company who's doing business. So business will make what? Profits. So now he's the receiver of income. He's the receiver of the profit. In the income tax, he has to suffer the income tax. Means what? He has to pay the tax from his pocket. So he is responsible means what? ABC Limited is responsible to pay income tax to the government. And he is the same person also responsible to remit. Remit means what? Hand over that money to the government. And whatever tax you're calculating on the income or the profit of the business, that is called as income tax. So tax on the income, directly on income is called as income tax. That's why the name is direct tax. So here the company or the individual person who's earning the income has to directly pay the money to the government. How? By filing income tax returns. In the income tax returns, there'll be an option to make the payment. So by filing the income tax return, you will give the information to government. Government, throughout the year, I've earned so much of income under different sources. And for this is the tax that I'm paying. So all the details will be furnished where? In your income tax returns. About this, you'll study where in detail? In the CA intermediate level, where you study income tax subject. Next is what? Indirect tax. Indirect tax is a tax imposed on the supply or the value of the goods and service. So this is also tax on your income only, but not directly, it is indirectly. Sir, how, sir? I'm coming. Let's suppose there's a person called as Mr. X. He has earned 15 lakh rupees salary in a year. How much salary? 15 lakh salary in a year per annum. And let's suppose on this the tax that is paid is 30% minus tax at the rate of 30%. So can you please tell me what is 30% of 15 lakhs? Online people?
4 lakh.
1 second. One second, people. 1 second. Online people, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's continue.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about Mr. X, who is earning 15 lakh rupees per annum. he has to suffer a tax of 30% on his income, 15 lakh. So how much is his tax? 4,50,000. Correct, no? Okay. What is the remaining income that he can enjoy? That is income after tax. Income after tax. How much, please? 10,50,000. Wonderful. Now here, this tax 450 what you pay to government is a calculation that is directly applied on your income. 30% you applied on what? On the income. 15 lakh into 30%, 4,50,000 rupees. Actually, the process of applying this tax or doing this calculation is more done in different manner. But that you'll study in the income tax subject. So my matter of discussion is not how to calculate the income tax actually. I'm just trying to make a discussion here. In reality, the tax you calculate is a little bit different. But what I want to make you understand is that this 450, how did you calculate? You applied a percentage directly on your income. And this 450 is a tax on your income directly. Hence, it is called as direct tax, income tax. Tax on income is called as income tax. Now, this income, you're free to do whatever you want to do with this. You want to buy goods, you want to go out and get some services, you're absolutely free to do anything. Imagine now, out of this, you buy one TV for 1 lakh rupees. You want to buy one 65-inch TV for 1 lakh rupees. Correct? How much is the tax on this product? 28%. How much it is? 28%. So now GST at the rate of 28% means, can you please tell me what is the tax on 1 lakh rupees at the rate of 28%? 28,000 rupees. So now 1 lakh is actual worth of TV. 1 lakh is actual worth of TV. But the person who is selling the TV to you, he will say, sir, with this we'll add GST. Previously, we'll add this with this GST. So now in total, how much are you supposed to pay to the shopkeeper? 1,28,000 you have to pay. My question goes to all of you. 28,000 GST what you're paying to the shopkeeper. The person who is selling the TV, the person from whom you're buying the TV, you have to pay GST to that fellow. This 28,000 rupees tax, from where are you paying, boss? From where? From this 1050 only, no? It's from your income only the tax is going. But is it going directly? Is the percentage, which is 28%, calculated on your income? No. It is calculated on the value of the goods. What is the value of the TV here? 1 lakh rupees is the worth of the TV. On that worth of the TV, on the value of the TV, you calculate 28%. But the tax what is being paid is going from where? From your pocket, from your income only. So this is also tax on income, but not directly, but indirectly. Hence the name is what? Indirect tax. The tax on your income directly. On your income, if they attack, on the face of your income, they say, income, pay me tax. That is called as income tax. Now, this 28,000 is also an attack on your income only, but not directly on your income. It is rooted through the goods and services. Hence, it is called as indirect tax. The tax which is attacking your income, not directly, but indirectly. Any problem here? So now this 1 lakh rupees is the value of the goods. It's the value of the TV. On this 1 lakh only you apply 28%. So what is GST here? So GST is indirect tax. The tax on income, but not directly. It is indirectly, which is imposed, which is calculated on the value of the goods. So what is the goods that we purchase now? TV. What is the value of the goods? 1 lakh. On that value only, this indirect tax of 28% you multiply. Is the logic clear? Nobody will sit and explain all this, I'm telling you. Nobody will sit and explain all this. I have people coming from different places. I ask this question. Intermediate level I'm talking about. People don't even know what is indirect tax and what is direct tax. And they've completed foundation also. Are you able to follow? So each and every element is important here because you're not into any small school or college level activity. You're into a professional course. A top-notch profession in the entire country where crores and crores of people look up to you for your opinion, your advice. So imagine if that is the case, how much responsibility you should have in doing the learning now. Today I'm asking a question, you're not able to answer, okay, because you're ready to learn from me. But tomorrow, once you qualify as CA foundation, once you go to CA Inter, and from CA Inter, when you go to CA final, if somebody then comes and asks you, you've cleared foundation, you've cleared Inter, but you don't know the meaning of this also, you're not able to clearly explain also, then what face will you carry, boss? Today, nobody will tell you anything because you're not cleared foundation. So people know that you're still learning. But after clearing foundation, after clearing Inter, after clearing CA, still if you don't know how to differentiate between the two things and tell us what CA have become. So if you don't want to get that kind of shame, then you have to concentrate fully in the class, understand each and every word is very, very important. Honestly, do you think I'm a fool to sit and waste my time here? Absolutely not. Each and every thing what I'm discussing here is absolutely relevant for your syllabus. Now, indirect tax is a tax imposed on the supply or the value of the goods and service. Goods and service tax is on, GST is on, not income. GST is not an income. GST is on the supply of the goods and supply of the services. My question goes to all of you. Under indirect tax, what comes? GST. Is GST the only one tax coming under indirect tax? The answer is no. We have one more act apart from GST Act. We have one more law called as Customs Duty Law. This is again a tax on the goods and service. Customs duty means what? This is a tax which comes into picture when you do import and exports of goods and services. Import duty. You've heard, no? If I want to buy a Ferrari car from, let's say, Australia, US, if I import it for 1 crore rupees, I have to pay heavy tax. That tax what you're paying is called as import duty. Import duty is nothing but, Krish, what is it? It is your customs duty, customs tax. Again, that is a tax on your goods and service. That tax you're paying from your income. So that tax which is going from income is not a direct attack on income. It is indirectly attack on your income. So any tax that is applied on the goods and services is called as indirect tax. GST is for the transaction that is happening within India. If I buy within India, sell within India, GST will come into picture. But if I do cross-border transactions, international transaction, apart from GST, what will come into picture? Customs duty also will come into picture. Now, customs duty is not there in your syllabus for your CA foundation level. So this is not going to be my transaction. I mean, this is not going to be my point of discussion. So customs duty is on the import and exports of the goods and services. Now, the question that is that, sir, who's the taxpayer here? Who's the tax emitter? Like direct tax, are both the persons same here or different? The answer is absolutely different persons. The tax is paid by ultimate customer, but the tax is remitted by middlemen such as manufacturers, traders, and service providers. Here, the person from whose pocket money is going, the person who is suffering the tax, the dent which is happening on the pocket of the person is a different person. And the person who's actually going and handing over his money to government is a different person. Taxpayer is different, tax remitter is different. Who's a tax remitter here? Sir, the middleman. The middleman is called as middlemen, such as manufacturers, traders, service providers, all these intermediary business people. These are called as middlemen, and these people are responsible to hand over your GST to the government. Why this is done? Why GST's remittance is done by the middleman? For ease of governance. For ease of governance. What governance we'll understand through an example. Now, ABC Limited. Who is this person? He could be a manufacturer. He could be a wholesaler. He could be a dealer. He could be a retailer. Anybody who's into business of buying and selling goods or providing services. Now, this gentleman has sold the goods, supplied the goods with invoice. Goods worth 10,000 has been supplied. Now, when 10,000 worth of goods he's supplying, can he supply just like that? Or he has to add GST to it? The government says that whenever you're selling the goods, if I'm selling this goods, if I'm charging 10,000 for this, along with that, please take from that person GST also. Goods ka paisa, you keep it. GST ka paisa, you give it to me. Who's saying this? Government is saying. So can I give this 10,000 worth of goods just like that? Or on this, I'm supposed to charge tax. I'm supposed to charge tax. Let's say the tax is 12% now. So 10,000 ka 12% is how much? 1,200. So plus 1,200 I'll mention in the bill. So now what is my total tax invoice value? Total invoice value 11,200. So now I'm giving actually 10,000 worth of goods. But in bill, how much it is mentioned? 11,200. Extra 1,200 is for whom? Government. So now customer has to make the payment. So will he make the payment only 10,000 here? No. He will say that. He will say that only, no. See, I purchased 10,000 worth of goods. Why should I pay GST? Arey Baba, GST you have to pay not on your voluntary motion. You have to pay GST because you are compelled by the law. If you don't pay GST, the person will not sell the goods to you. Are you able to follow? So as an end consumer, you and we have to pay the GST. So now when the customer, who's the buyer of the goods, he has to pay now 10,000 plus 1,200. So how much does he pay now totally? How much does he pay now? 11,200. My question goes to all of you. In this example, who is the taxpayer? Who is the taxpayer? ABC Limited or customer? Customer, because he is the sufferer of GST. From his pocket only GST went, no, bus. What did it go from the pocket of ABC Limited? Nothing. Goods worth 10,000 went. For that money also came back. Extra money what customer paid 1,200. Ultimately, the dent happened in whose pocket? Boss, customer's pocket. Now, ABC Limited is the collector of the GST. He sold the goods. Along with it, he collected the GST. Now, how much money does ABC Limited in total he has now? As of now, how much money in total he has? So 11,200 he has now. In that, he can keep with him only how much? 10,000. And balance 1,200, he has to remit that money. ABC Limited is now responsible to remit the GST to the government. So he has to hand over the 1,200 to government. So here, who's a remitter of the GST? ABC Limited. Who is ABC Limited? Middleman. Category of middleman. He could be manufacturer. He could be a wholesaler. He could be a dealer. He could be a retailer. Anything. So he is the person responsible to hand over the tax. Whereas in direct tax, what happened? ABC Limited, he was the sufferer of tax, plus he was the remitter of tax. Both he did. Payment also he did. Handing over that money also both he did. So dual responsibility is given in the case of income tax. In the income tax, on me, there is dual responsibility. I have to pay the money, I have to remit the money also. But in case of GST, it's not that case. The person who is paying the tax is different, and the person who is remitting the tax is different. Am I clear? Now, my question goes to all of you. Why this process has been done by government? Like direct tax, why did the responsibility was not given to customer to pay the tax and to remit the tax? Why is the customer not asked to remit the tax to government? Please tell me. Apply your common sense. Step into shoes of government and think and tell me why did you not give the responsibility to the customer to hand over the GST? Why did you catch hold of ABC Limited's neck? Because for ABC Limited, this is unnecessary extra working. Poor fellow. I'm sitting and doing nice business. On top of that, you're coming and telling you have to charge GST, collect GST, remit GST. If you don't charge, government penalty on the middleman. If I collect GST, if I don't pay, penalty, prosecution again on the ABC Limited. So whose neck is being caught hold by the government? The middleman. So why middleman has to go through this harassment? Why did government choose middlemen only to do all this work? Why was the responsibility for remitting the tax was not given to customer? Please tell me. Wonderful, beautiful. She nailed it. She says that, sir, customer, 140 crore customer we have all over country. And do they buy only once in a year? This 140 crore people, do they buy once in a year? Some people buy daily. Anna 1 rupee chocolate today. Anna 1 rupee chocolate tomorrow. Imagine 140 crore people buying literally on everyday basis. Is it possible as a government to go and trace which customer? Hey, customer, did you buy today? Give me GST, GST. Come, give me. Can you go behind each and every customer? Today you ate vada pav, oh, give me vada pav on GST. Oh, today you purchased TV, give me GST on TV. Like that, is it viable, practically possible to give the responsibility to customer to collect the GST? We can make the customer responsible to remit GST. But in case if they don't remit GST, do you have the bandwidth to go behind that customer? Do you have the bandwidth to go and trace that? Oh, today he purchased, he paid. Today he purchased, he did not pay the GST. Can you go and trace those people? Not possible. Think about from the government point of view. 140 crore people. Today, who purchased, who sold, where is the data available? That on real-time basis. So tracing these people, not possible. So there is no way that the government can recover the GST in a smooth manner. Hence, government caught hold of these connecting people. Now, ABC Limited, like that middlemen, are not 140 crore in number. They are limited people. They'll be in 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore. Handling 140 crore people is better or handling 4 crore people is better? Which is better? 4 crore people handling is better. First point. Second point, do you think all the customers are educated enough? In tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities, there are so many people who does not even know T for tax. They don't know what is GST. They don't know what is income tax. The person who is barely surviving for his food, in that case, will you go that person and tell, oh, come on, give me GST. I have to take care of the air defense system. I have to, make my military team very robust. So you have to give me tax. I'm protecting you. Can you make him understand? Not possible. So these customers are not only large in number, many people under this category are unorganized also, uneducated also. So going behind them is foolishness, time waste. Whereas people like this ABC Limited middlemen, are limited in number and they are more educated, because when you're doing business, no, if you don't have education, at least you have money to appoint a CA who can tell you what needs to be done. So ABC Limited, either he can be educated or he can give money to hire the educated person to take care of the taxes. So government felt much better to handhold ABC Limited like people than handholding the customer. That's why they told that whenever you sell the goods, with that you collect the GST. You collect the GST and you pay me the GST. Government is given the instruction. Government is giving the instruction to whom? To the middlemen. Who are the middlemen? Manufacturers, wholesalers, dealers, retailer, any intermediate business people. They are responsible to hand over the GST to the government. Please understand, middlemen will never suffer the GST from their pocket. They are never paying the tax from their pocket. This 1,200 rupees, what ABC Limited gave to the government, did they give from their pocket? No, they collected 1,200 from the customer. They did the job of postman. Do you understand what is postman? What does postman do? He delivers the goods, packets. So here, all the middlemen does the job of postman. Collecting the money, depositing money. That's all. And for this, middlemen don't get any commission from the government also. For doing this extra work, there's no commission from the government also. This is a compulsory job. As a citizen of India, you have to suffer this, is what law says. So here, the remitter of tax is who? The middleman. Who's the payer of tax? Customer, end customer. Always end customer. End customer is a sufferer of tax. Remember this point. This can come as an MCQ. Ultimately, GST goes from whose pocket? Ultimately means what? At last, from whose pocket the tax goes? Customer. Middlemen are the responsible person to collect the money and pay the money to the government. So who is the taxpayer here? End customer. Who is the tax remitter? All the middlemen are the tax remitters. Am I clear on this point? So first of all, we understood what is the meaning of tax. Second, we understood what are the two different types of taxes, direct and indirect tax. Why tax is called as direct? Why tax is called as indirect? Both we understood. Direct tax is tax on income, whereas indirect tax is tax on your goods and services. That also is from income only, but it is not on your income directly. It is through your goods and services. Then we understood who's the taxpayer, who's the tax remitter in both the cases. Now, till what I've discussed so far, in this, if you have any doubts? Till this, do you have any doubts? No doubts? Comfortable?
No, sir.
Online people?
No.
Any doubts so far, please?
So one doubt.
Yes,
No.
boss.
No,
Sir, so in short, we can say that indirect tax, the burden of tax can be shifted from the middleman to the customer.
Come again.
In indirect tax, in short, we can say that the burden of tax can be shifted from the seller to the buyer.
Correct, you're right. So burden of tax is also, in case of direct tax, the burden of the tax, the sufferer of the tax is the the person who is earning the income. Whereas in the case of indirect tax, the government is given the responsibility. The burden is on whom? The middleman. But the middleman smoothly shifts that on the head of end customer. So the burden can be shifted. The burden of tax means what? The suffering of the tax. Government gave that burden on whom? Middleman. Middleman shifted that on whom? End customer. So burden of tax can be shifted to the end customer in case of indirect tax, but not in case of direct tax. In direct tax, the tax remitter is a person responsible to pay tax. So that the burdens cannot be shifted. You said rightly, Gautam.
Yes, sir.
Now, GST introduction. What is GST? So GST is a value added tax system. Now, this has got a significant meaning, but I will not be in position to explain you what is this point now. When the right time comes, I'll make you understand why this is called as value added tax system. And this could be useful from what point of view? No, true and false point of view. GST is not a value added tax system. True or false? False. Now, why? Justification have to give, no. So unless and until you understand the concept, you cannot give the explanation also. Right? So now, I'm not giving the explanation because right time when it comes, I'll give you the explanation of value added tax system, meaning. GST is a value added tax system. And this is levied. Levied means what? Charged. The tax is charged on the value of the goods and service. When the goods and services are supplied, no, you'll be charging a value to it. On that value, the tax has been calculated. Any problem here? Now, when you come to your CA intermediate GST topic, GST subject, what is the meaning of supply? For that, there's one entire chapter. Oh my God. To just understand what is the meaning of supply, the word one supply is there, no, for that one entire book. I mean, chapter they have written, not book, the entire chapter is written on that. It is a comprehensive indirect tax system which has subsumed multiple indirect taxation levied earlier. Now, this point you will understand when I come here. This point you will understand when I come here. First point I have not explained. Second point I'll explain, but not now, in just few minutes. Second, GST is a destination-based tax. Destination-based tax. Again, true and false, very important point. Means GST is levied at the place where it is consumed rather than the place where they are produced. Now, to understand this line, in your C Inter GST topic, there's one entire chapter called as place of supply. In the chapter place of supply, you'll understand actually what this means. Here they're telling that if I am selling the goods from Coimbatore to Bombay, where is the consumption happening? Bombay. So ultimately the tax will be paid to which government? Bombay government. Are you able to follow? So GST is destination based tax. Means GST is levied at a place where it is consumed. So finally the goods and services where they are consumed, no, there the GST is being paid rather than the place where the GST is being, rather than the place where the goods and services are produced. Now, this is not that easy. In this, there are ifs and buts. But all the ifs and buts are discussed where in the CA interlevel, not in CA foundation. But you might get this as a true and false question. Telling that GST is a destination-based tax means GST is levied in place where they are produced. True or false? False. GST is levied on the place where they are consumed. Now, the meaning of this you will not understand, nor I'll be explaining here because I need to explain the concept of place of supply here. And place of supply is one entire chapter in your GST. So understanding that now is going to be difficult. So for true and false point of view, this you have to remember there's no choice. Am I clear? This is not 100% true. This is not 100% true, but majority this is true. This you'll understand only when I discuss place of supply with you in the chapter. Intermediate level. Now, GST is charged at a prescribed rate. Prescribed rate. What is the meaning of prescribed? You know prescription. Doctors gives us a prescription. And why do you call this as prescription? Because when you go to the medical shop, if you ask medicine, they'll not give you. They'll tell you, do you have the medicine prescription? Means, do you have that medicine prescribed by a doctor? Are you asking the medicine just because you want to eat that, or did your doctor recommend it? So if the doctor has recommended it, that is called as prescription. So the rate what you're charging on your goods and services, no, you can't charge the own rate what you feel like. Today morning I woke up, today my mood is to charge 10% GST. Or today morning I woke up, today my mood is 50% GST podra. You can't do that. The government has defined the GST rates. They have prescribed the GST rate. That only you have to charge. For this goods, this much rate. For that goods, that much rate. For this service, this much rate. For that service, that much rate. They have defined. You have to blindly remember that and follow that. You can't tweak or change the rates. Am I loud and clear? Am I loud and clear? No energy. Am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. GST is charged at the prescribed rate. Prescribed rate. And this rate is applied on what? The rate 28%, 12% is charged on what? On the supply of goods and service. On the value of the goods and service. Now, this rate, who can charge? Only a registered taxpayer can charge. Oh my God. Only a registered taxpayer can charge. Can you please tell me what is the meaning of registered taxpayer? Registered organization. What is the meaning of registered organization? No. Registered taxpayer. Who is registered taxpayer? Any businessman, any middleman who is registering that company or that business with the GST department, who's got GST number, is called as registered taxpayer. GSTIN. Have you come across this term called as GSTIN? GST identification number. Like how you have PAN number, Aadhaar. Now, Sanjay, in the entire country, how many Sanjay will be there? N number of Sanjay. Pratik, how many Pratik? N number of Pratik. So by the name, you can't identify the person. So for that, what has been separately given to you? Your Aadhaar number. With your Aadhaar number, you can be identified. In India, if there are 100 Pratik word is common, but each 100 person is having different identification number, different Aadhaar number. Like that, every person who has to charge GST, no, the GST department gives a separate identification number. Only if you are registered under GST, only if you are registered under GST, you can charge GST, otherwise not. That's why if you see, if you go to any hotel, big hotels or any big companies, it is compulsory for them to display their GSTIN number on their board, name board. Not just that, When you go and buy the goods and services, they give a bill. In that bill also, they have to mention GSTIN number. Tell me why. Tell me why. First, you'll get to know that he's registered. First, we'll get to know he's registered. So if I'm registered, why should I show my GSTIN number? I'll tell in bracket, no, I am registered. Why should I display my GSTIN number? Evidence. What evidence? Ada, if I put in bracket, no, I'm registered. That is not sufficient for you. Eh? To avoid cheating. So they said compulsory to put GSTIN number. Why? Because if you have a doubt that this is fraud GST number, you can go to GST website. Go to GST website, put the GST number, put GSTIN number. You'll get the complete details. What is the person name who has applied the GST? What is the brand name for which he has registered the GST? And this GST number is right or wrong, everything will come. If anybody is putting a fake GST number on the bill, which happened really, where this GST was launched in 2017, 1 July 2017. Initially, a lot of people did forgery. Somebody else's GST number they put here. They're not registered only, but they want to collect GST, extra tax. And they put the tax in their pocket. They told this is the GST number. So government said that no cheating. I'm opening the data in the portal. If you feel that this person is cheating, go and put that number in the website. Now, in that, let's suppose you're going to Annapurna. If you're going to Annapurna, in that, who has applied that GST number? Annapurna, name will come. The person who's applied the GST, the brand name, everything will come. Now, if you are putting a GST number and somebody else's data comes, which means this is a fraud GST number. Somebody else's GST number on purpose, they have put it here, only for forgery purpose. Sometimes people take somebody else's GST number and put it, and some people put the wrong GST number also. Because you believe in what? GST number there means he is registered person. So we have to pay tax, you think. But all that GST number is fraud, wrong. So wherever you have doubt that whether this GST number is proper or not, you can always put that GST number where? On the website and check whether the GST number belongs to this particular place or not. To this particular business brand name or not, you can go and check. That is why the government made it compulsory that you have to mention the GST number on the name board and also on the invoices. Compulsory. So only a registered taxpayer can collect GST. If a person who is not registered, for example, I'm not registered to GST. If I collect GST from you, this is fraud, this is forgery. On that, interest will come, penalty will come, prosecution also will happen. So any person who is not registered at GST, and if he still collects the GST, it's a fraud that has been done. And for that, the ultimate punishment is what? Jail. Am I loud and clear? Now your question should be, sir, anybody who's doing business in India, should everybody compulsory have GST? The answer is no. Government says that is not applicable to your level, but for your knowledge, I'm telling you. If you're in the business of buying and selling goods, your limit is 40 lakh. Which limit? Turnover limit. If your turnover is not touching 40 lakhs, if your turnover is not touching 40 lakhs, no need for you to take GST. But the day your turnover is touching 40 lakh rupees, compulsory you have to take GST. So for goods business, the turnover limit is 40 lakhs. Up to 40 lakh, no GST required. The day you touch 40 lakh, you have to compulsory get the GST number for your business. And for service provided, it is 20 lakhs. Which means up to 20 lakh rupees, I need not apply for GST. The day I cross 20 lakh rupees, what am I supposed to do? I have to get into GST. That's why we have two academy. One is Fortune, one is Kalpavish. So that turnover limit is not crossed. Otherwise, if I take GST, who has to pay GST? I'll pay from my pocket. I am the remitter. Who are the payer here? Who is the sufferer? You. Are able to follow? This is not fraud. This is tax planning. Allowed. Very well by law. Very well by law, it is allowed. You can plan your taxes, but you cannot force or cheat in the taxes. That is very important. Am I loud and clear? So, any person whose turnover is not crossing 20 lakh in a service business, any person whose turnover is not crossing 40 lakh in goods business, need not get GST registered. But in that also, there will be an exception. If this happens, if this is been done, then you have to register like that. Ifs and buts has been given. That you will study where in your CA in the GST chapter. Am I loud and clear? So, it is not compulsory in India that every person doing business, every person doing the business of goods and services has to get GST. It is not compulsory. They've given a threshold limit. Up to that limit, no need to apply for GST. But once you cross that limit, you have to get yourself registered under GST. The day you get registered under the GST Act, you will be called as registered taxpayer. Only then you are a person who's allowed to collect GST from the customer. Otherwise, not. So only a registered taxpayer can collect the GST from the customer and not the unregistered person. So can unregistered person collect the tax from the customer? GST allowed? Not allowed. Unregistered people can never collect GST from the customer. Only registered people who is registered with the GST department, only they can collect the taxes from the customer. Am I loud and clear? Online people, am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The credit of input tax paid at each stage, including interstate transaction, would be available. Yes, would be available. Sorry, here this did not get printed in the PDF. I'll get it changed. The credit of the input tax paid at each stage would be available, unlike the erstwhile tax laws. You will not understand this point unless and until I start explaining what is input CGST and what is output CGST. So when I discuss what is input, that time I'll make you understand what is this point trying to say. So this point I have not yet taught so far. Any problem? No problem. Thus, under GST, final consumer shall bear the entire GST charged at the each stage of supply. Now, all these theory points, one more time I'll come and discuss when you know, not now. Once the entire GST is over, then I'll come back and read this points. Again, it'll make sense. Since it is coming in order, I'm just skimming through. Wherever possible, I explain now. Rest will be understandable only when I do the practical questions. Always remember, the final consumer of the goods, the final consumer of the service is the person who has to bear the tax, pay the tax. All the middlemen are the people who are doing the job of postman. Means what? Only remitting of the tax. Ultimate tax is gone from whose pocket? End customer's pocket. Will you remember this point? Wonderful. Now, I said I'll explain this point now, right? Which point is that? Second point. What is second point saying? Loudly read. What is second point saying? It is a comprehensive indirect tax system which has subsumed multiple indirect taxation levied earlier. Now listen to me very carefully. When was the GST implemented in our country? 1st July 2017. 2017 was the year when the GST was implemented. Which month? July month. July, will you forget? Never. Because that month is my birthday month. Priyadashini, oh, how do sir? And the date on which the GST was implemented is 1st of July. Sir, why GST came, sir? The idea behind GST was one nation, one tax. So are you trying to tell me, sir, before GST we had multiple taxes? The answer is yes. You know how many taxes were there? List. There was something called as excise duty. There was something called as service tax. There's something called as CST. There's something called as VAT. Oh my God. I'm telling you, in the pre-GST era, that is before 1 July 2017, we had n number of taxes. Example, if you are, let's suppose you were the manufacturer of tire. If you're manufacturer of tire. Upon manufacturing, government that time said that you have to pay a tax called as excise duty. Central excise duty. So excise duty is a tax on the manufacturing of goods. So which means if I'm manufacturing this phone and if this phone is coming out of my factory, I have to pay tax. Only I can take this out of factory. Upon taking the goods out of the factory, I have to pay a duty called as excise duty. What is it? Tax. So excise duty was the tax that was charged on the manufacturing of the goods. So if I was into manufacturing of tire, for manufacturing the tire, upon the completion of manufacturing of tire, I have to pay something called as excise duty. Any problem? Okay. So for tire business, I had excise duty. Wonderful. Obviously, if I'm manufacturing tire, I will not sell within the state. No, I'll sell outside the state also. Let's suppose I manufactured in Coimbatore. So my business is located in which state? Tamil Nadu. Will I sell only in Tamil Nadu? No, I'll sell outside Tamil Nadu also. If I was selling the tire in Tamil Nadu, the tax that I have to collect from the Tamil Nadu customer was called as VAT or sales tax. So which means I had to comply VAT rules also. Excise duty, separate department. VAT, separate department. Excise duty was coming under central government. VAT was coming under state government. And if I was supplying the goods other than Coimbatore, other than Tamil Nadu, that is if I was delivering to Maharashtra, Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, then VAT will not come into picture. What will come into picture, you know? CST, Central Sales Tax. which means this CST have to pay to whom? Central government. So separate income tax, separate return filing for CST, which means if I am manufacturing tire, I have to pay excise duty. This excise duty is paid to excise department. For that separate form I have to fill, separate payment I have to do. If any problem, separately I have to go and handle. If I'm selling the goods in the Tamil Nadu, I have to pay VAT. So I have to go to VAT website, fill the VAT details, pay VAT tax. If any problem comes there, I have to go and visit which officer? VAT officer. If any problem comes, the department will call us. No. To which officer I have to go and meet? VAT officer. Then, if I'm doing other state sales, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and all, I have to go in which website? CST website. Give the CST related details. Pay CST tax separately. There, if any problem comes, I have to go and meet which officer? CST officer. Plus, I was the person who was servicing the tire. Means if some problem is there in the tire, the rubber of the tire has gone bad, I have to change and give. So I was servicing, let's suppose. For that, what tax is there? Service tax. Service tax, separate website. Separately, I have to go and upload the details. Separately, I have to pay tax. In that, if there is any problem, who will call me? Service tax officer. Like that, we had multiple taxes, boss. And above all, imagine, had I been importing, exporting the tire, again, what will come into picture? Customs duty will come into picture. In customs duty also, multiple taxes. Special addition of customs duty, countervailing duty, additional duties of exercise. Oh, Imagine if a person is a manufacturer, plus seller within the state, seller outside the state, plus is providing the service, plus international supply. He'll go mad. One person has to be doing this job only. Today, this form I have to fill, tomorrow that I have to fill, today this tax I have to pay, tomorrow that tax I have to pay, today this officer will call, tomorrow that officer will call. Imagine the harassment. When I say this, look at your faces, you go, oh, you sore. Imagine the person who's going through that physically, mentally. And who was going through? You guys only. Lucky that you were born after GST. No, sorry, before GST, but you're studying or becoming CA after GST. You don't have to go through this harassment, boss. Imagine though your parents were into practice, you go and ask them. Because ultimately the tax practitioners, the CAs used to run behind all the offices. Imagine how much pain. How much pain. So government said that nothing doing. We'll subsume, we'll mix all of them under one common roof called as GST. No more excise duty, no more CST, no more VAT, no service tax, no customs duty. Everything will subsume under one thing called as GST. Any problem? So the different taxes which were subsumed means what? It got embedded in the GST where central excise duty levied on the Medicinal Toiletry Preparation Act, additional duty of exercise, surcharge, service tax, countervailing duty, special additional duty of customs tax, CST. All this is central government levy tax. These taxes were levied by whom? Central government. So all these came under where? GST. And look at the taxes that state government charged. VAT, entry tax, octroi duty, purchase tax, luxury tax on your hotel. If you're going and staying in any hotel and resort, now it is GST. Back then it was luxury tax. You come into resort, no. Apo yo paisa wala. Oh, luxury life you're living. You give luxury tax. For everything tax, man. Luxury tax, entertainment tax, tax on advertisement separate, lottery, betting, gambling separate, state says surcharge separate. How many tax? All these taxes were levied by whom? State government. So all this tax got subsumed under one single tax called as GST. Sir, is all the taxes come under GST? No, there is still some more taxes which is not come under the purview of GST. Can you give me one example? On day-to-day life, you deal with the product and that is not come under GST. Petrol. Go and take petrol bill. GST is still not there. On petrol, still there, what has been levied? Excise duty, VAT, CST is what has been levied. Still, it is not come under GST. Second, alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Anybody tried? Alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Saragma. I can't say like that in the class, no. That's why policeman, alcoholic liquor for human consumption. On that also, no GST yet. It's still a state tax matter. So, taxes not subsumed under GST. Basic customs duty, anti-dumping duty, export duty. These three are still separately charged. And this money goes to whom? Central government. These are central taxes tax is levied by the central government. State tax such as property tax. What is property tax? If I own this building, let's suppose, every year I'm supposed to pay property tax. So on property tax, that is the money that you pay as property tax. On that, I don't have to pay GST. I have to pay what? Property tax. So property tax is separate. Electricity tax, stamp duty. If you're buying and selling property in Tamil Nadu or any other state, you have to pay one fees to the government called as stamp duty fees. So on that, GST is not coming to picture. On the property value that you sell, what is coming into picture? Stamp duty comes into picture. GST does not come into picture. If any of your parents have recently purchased the property and sold the property, you check the tax that they pay to government is not the GST tax. It is stamp duty tax. Road passenger tax, toll tax, entertainment tax, all these are levied by the state government. And these are still not come under GST. Any problem? Any problem so far? Comfortable? Can I go forward? Now, framework of GST in India. So before that, if I come to this point, can I say this point is explained? This point is explained. What is not explained? This is not explained. This I told you will be learning in depth in the interlevel only. This point I explained. Correct? This is pending. Input tax credit is pending. Correct? No? Correct? No? Okay. Online people, are you all with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Wonderful. Framework of GST in India. India has adopted dual GST model. Dual GST model. Why dual? Because in India, we have dual government. We have one central government, a respective state government. In some countries, they have only one single government. They have only one single government. But in a country like India, we have dual government. Because it's a big country, one central government cannot manage. One, the landmass is very big. Second, each state comes with different language. So for central government to go and deal with the respective state people is very difficult. Right? So in that olden days itself, they came out with the concept of dual government. Means what? We'll have central government, but we'll appoint respective state government so that you can take care of the small states in their local language you can deal with. Hence, we adopted dual GST model. So here, so since we have dual government, we have to pay now taxes to both the government, central government and state government. Since we are paying GST to both central and state government, so what model of GST we have adopted? Dual GST model. Because in our federal structure, we have two government. One is central government and one is state government. Since the GST model is what? Dual model. Any problem in this? Where both center and the state simultaneously levy GST on the supply of goods and services in both, which takes place within the state or the union territory. So any transaction taking place with any state or union territory, the taxes will be levied by both central government and state government. So what model of GST we followed? Dual GST model. Okay. Now comes the important part. This is very important, relevant for all your practical questions. Structure of GST in India. Structure of GST in India. You have 4 different types of GST. One is called as CGST. GST means what? Goods and service tax. C means what? Central goods and service tax. C stands for central government. The GST which goes to central government is called as CGST. Central goods and service tax. Any problem? Then comes SGST. GST stands for goods and service tax. What is S here? State goods and service tax. UTGST. UT stands for Union Territories. How many union territories are there? 7. UT. Somewhere you study. Which standard you study UT? 6th, 7th standard. Memory gone? Sir, I'm Gajani, sir. I don't remember what happened yesterday. 6, 7, 10 years ago. Chumma guess pannunga. 6, 8. So one more option if you give 6, 8, and 9 you said. No, one more option you give. Come, let's play Kaun Banega Crorepati. Come. 7, 8, 9. It's like, sir, you decide, sir. I will tell 7, 8, 9. You decide whatever you want to decide. 8, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 7, 8. Wonderful. Online people. 7, 8, 9. One said 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9. 4 options we got. Tell me.
Sir, 9.
9. Who said 9?
Sir, Harshini.
Harshini says 9. Okay. Darshini
8,
says 9. Okay. Others?
8, sir.
8.
8, sir. 8,
Wonderful. Can you please tell me the name of the 6, 7, 8, whatever you say? Andaman Nicobar, Daman and Diu, Delhi, Pondicherry. It's not Pondicherry, it's Puducherry. Name Telivar, Puducherry. Dadra Nagar Haveli,
Lakshadweep.
Lakshadweep.
Chandigarh.
Chandigarh is Union Territory?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody said somebody's name also. Lakshadweep put down. Ladakh. You left an important thing. Jammu and Kashmir. How can you forget this, boss?
Puducherry.
Delhi, Puducherry, Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is the latest addition. We cannot forget this. Recently, those who said 7 is correct earlier, but recently, last couple of years, 2 more UT got added. One is Jammu and Kashmir. Second is Ladakh. Latest addition. So, Delhi, Puducherry, Jammu and Kashmir. Andaman Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, Chandigarh and Ladakh. So how many are there? 9 in total. So how many said 9 here? Offline, nobody said 9. Everybody said 7, 8. And she said 7, 8, 9 is there. You decide, sir, whatever you want to decide. Online, who said 9? Darshini.
Yes, sir.
Who else said? That's all. Only one person is updated. Rest are not patriotic to this country, I'm telling you. Now, come back. How many union territories? 9 union territories. Wonderful. So one is CGST, one is SGST, one is UTGST. What is this IGST, sir? I stands for what? International, sir. Tell international. I for interstate nahi bhai. Integrated GST. IGST stands for integrated GST. Okay. Now, before we understand all this, we have to understand what are the type of supplies. Before we understand what is CGST, SGST, UTGST, and IGST, we have to understand what are the 2 types of supply. One is called as intra-state supply. Second is called as interstate supply. Intra, then inter.
So
Supply within the state. Goods supplied, goods sold within the state is called as intra. Within the state. It's called as what? Intrastate supply. If I am selling the goods from Chennai to Coimbatore, Chennai is coming under which state? Tamil Nadu. Coimbatore? Tamil Nadu. So supply within the state. From one city to another city, but both cities are coming under same state. This is called as what supply? Intrastate supply. Next is what? Bangalore to Mysore. Bangalore is a part of which state? Karnataka. Mysore, Karnataka. Both the cities in Karnataka. So what supply it is? Intrastate supply. Supply from Bombay to Pune. Bombay is coming under which state? Maharashtra. Pune, Maharashtra. What supply? Intrastate supply. Guys, open your mouth and respond. What supply? Intrastate supply. Whenever you come across intrastate supply, the GST that you will charge is CGST and SGST. 2 GST, sir? Cheating, sir, this is. 2 GST, who will pay? 1 GST itself we are not comfortable to pay. On top of that, you want me to pay 2 GST? Oh my God. It's not 2 GST. It's only 1 GST. But it is broken down into 2 parts. It's only 1 GST. But you're breaking into equal. 1 to center, 1 to state. In a family, if there are 2 brothers, 1 cake, what will you do? We'll take scale, sir. We'll take scale. Inch to inch will measure. Not 1 inch more, not 1 inch less. Forget inch, sir. Millimeter also will check. Not 1 millimeter more, not 1 millimeter less. Correct will cut and give. Like that, exact scale measurement, you'll cut and give. Half to whom? Central government. Half to whom? State government. So, in case of intrastate supply, 2 taxes come into picture. One is CGST and one is SGST. Any problem in this? Online people, any problem in this? No energy, I'm going by. I'm going. Tata.
No, sir.
I'm going by. I've done my chair. No energy.
No, sir.
Offline भी बोलना पड़ता है. Tell, clear or not clear? Now, I'm turning back, okay? Now, interstate supply. Interstate means what? Between two states. Supply between states. Between states. Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. Karnataka, Maharashtra. Andhra, Rajasthan. Like that. Between state is called as interstate supply. Supply between UTs. Between two union territory. Between two union territory. Which union territory? Delhi to Pondicherry. Pondicherry to Delhi. Delhi to Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep to Delhi. Between any union territory, it is what? Still it is interstate transaction. So it is UT, no sir. That still we refer as what? Interstate only. The name is given like that. So if any transaction happen between the two states or two union territories, it is called as what? Interstate transactions. Any problem here? Not just that. If a supply is happening between one state and one UT, Tamil Nadu to Pondicherry. Tamil Nadu is a state. Pondicherry is union territory. So one state, one union territory. Still it is called as interstate supply. Bangalore to Coimbatore. What supply it is? Interstate. Bangalore is Karnataka. Coimbatore is Tamil Nadu. Interstate. So it is interstate supply. Chennai to Delhi. Chennai is state. Tamil Nadu. Delhi is UT. So one state, one UT. So what it is? Interstate supply. Pondicherry to Delhi. Between two UT. Pondicherry also UT. Delhi also UT. Between two UT, still it is interstate supply. On the interstate supply, the GST that you levy is IGST. Integrated GST. IGST. Any problem? Now, when I say here, intrastate supply, CGST and SGST, alternative could be what? CGST plus UTGST. If the supply is in Pondicherry, not Pondicherry, sorry, in Lakshadweep, within Lakshadweep, it is UTGST, CGST and UTGST. So you go to Lakshadweep, and buy any item from the local shop. Now the GST what he will charge is CGST and UTGST. He will not put SGST. I'm talking about Lakshadweep. I never mentioned Pondicherry. Pondicherry, Delhi, and Jammu and Kashmir. Even though they are called as union territory, but they will not put UTGST. They'll put what? SGST. Tell me why. Because they have their own state government. They have their own legislative assembly. Like we have assembly, parliament we have. We have central level parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Like that, we have state level parliament. Tamil Nadu has got their own parliament. They have their own state legislative assembly. Like that, Delhi now recently the government got changed. Earlier it was AAP. Now it is again BJP. So now Delhi, Pondicherry and Jammu and Kashmir have their own state legislative assembly where they are capable of making their own decisions. So they are not called as UT. What is a UT? UT means they are dependent on the decision making of the central government. Now if you talk about Andaman, Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep, Dadra, Nagar Haveli, Daman, Diu, Chandigarh, Ladakh, these UTs cannot make their own decisions. The decisions of the central government will be imposed on these people because they don't have their own state legislative assembly. Union territories, these are the union territories without state legislature. Means they don't have their own state government for governing purpose. So for governing purpose, these people are dependent on whom? Central government. So any amount that is being paid to central government, so here it is called as CGST and UTGST. So if you go to Andaman, Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Chandigarh, Ladakh, in the local shop there you buy, in the bill, you will never find SGST. What will you find? CGST and UTGST. Whereas if you go to Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu and Kashmir, go and take any product from the local market. In the bill, you will find what? CGST and SGST. UTGST will not come into picture because these three union territories have their own state government. So now they have got a name of state. Though they're UTs, but still they have their status of being called as state, and SGST is what is being charged. Am I loud and clear? Online people, am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
Now, categories of GST in India. CGST. CGST means what? Central Goods and Service Tax. This is levied and collected. This is levied, charged, and the money is collected by the central government. On which transaction? Intrastate supply. So CGST is coming under which transaction? Which supply? Intrastate supply. SGST stands for State Goods and Service Tax. Levied and collected by the state government. State government like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu and Kashmir. Union territories with state legislative assembly. Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu and Kashmir. On what? Again, intrastate supply. So CGST, SGST, and UTGST comes on what? Intrastate supply. What is UTGST? Levied and collected, charged and collected by the union territory. By the union territory, which UTs? Which UTs? Those UTs which does not have state legislative. They don't have this own own state government. All the other UTs apart from Delhi, Puducherry, and Jammu and Kashmir. Apart from that, remaining is how much? 6. All the other 6 who does not have their own state government, they will be called as union territories without state legislative assembly, and in their bill they will charge UTGST on which supply? Intrastate supply. And then finally, IGST is called as integrated. If you want, I'll mention this terms here against each and every point. This is called as integrated goods and service tax. Now, this is levied, charged, and collected by central government on all interstate supplies. You can tell me why IGST is coming to picture. Why can't we still put CGST and SGST here? Why IGST, separate GST, they brought into picture? If you are a government, tell me, what could have been the logical reason behind this? Yes, wonderful. She says that, sir, if I'm supplying the goods between Coimbatore and Chennai, both are coming under which state? Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu has got one state government. So from Coimbatore to Chennai or Chennai to Coimbatore, wherever the goods goes, one clear party in this is what? State government, which is Tamil Nadu. There is no debate. Should I pay the money to state government or not? There's no debate in it. And one part goes to central government because we are having dual government. So both the government says that whatever tax come, you take 50%, I take 50%. So 50% goes to central government, 50% to state government. And here I have no confusion to which state government I have to pay. Because both of them are coming under which category? Which category? Tamil Nadu category. So here I will pay this money happily to state government, which is Tamil Nadu here. The problem comes where? The problem comes that when you're supplying the goods from Coimbatore to Pune, Coimbatore is coming under Tamil Nadu. Pune is coming under Maharashtra. Now the question is, to whom should we pay tax? Should we pay to Tamil Nadu government or should we pay to Maharashtra government? Ultimately, GST is destination-based tax. Destination-based tax, which means what? GST should be levied or finally it is being charged where the consumption happens, not at the initial stage. But TN government will fight, no, what nonsense this is. It is my person who is selling the goods. If I was not there, how will Pune people get the goods? Like that, there could be a conflict. So imagine if you are a customer or you're a middleman. Government tells that, okay, do one thing. Whatever GST is there, no, pay a little bit to Tamil Nadu government, pay a little bit to Maharashtra government, pay a little bit to central government. If you're dealing with only Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, understandable. How many business enterprise they deal with multiple states? So can you sit and keep a track to this government how much I should pay, to with that government how much I should pay? Will we focus on business or will we focus on these people's drama? So here central government said that nothing doing. Do one thing. Wherever there's a conflicting issue, wherever there are more than 2 states coming to picture or more than 1 state coming to picture, wherever there are more than 1 state coming to picture, no CGST, no SGST. No CGST, no SGST. You only pay one IGST. This IGST will go to whom? Central government. Central government will decide in the back end how much money they should keep, how much money should go to Tamil Nadu government, how much money should go to the Maharashtra government. So that headache, who is taking care of? Central government in the back end. That's why you would have seen many states alleging the central government that my dues, the monthly dues is not yet come. How many times the Tamil Nadu government has said, so much dues is pending, you're not paying to us. How will I, construct the bridge here? How will I take care of the state people here? Because there's a delay in the payment by the central government. The apportionment of the IGST is being done by the central government in the back end. That we will not do. Whose headache is that? Central government headache. So central government has their own policy. How much percentage I should pay to which state? How much percentage I should keep? They have their own policy, which is an understanding between them. That will not be disclosed to us. So IGST you pay to central government, but central government cannot give the entire money. Central government has to give some portion of that to both the state governments and some portion they will keep it. How much percentage? We don't know. Am I loud and clear? That is why, to avoid the conflict, to avoid the confusion, they came out with one single GST called as IGST. So IGST is collected by center. Who's collecting this? Center will collect on which transaction? Interstate supply. And in the back end, the government will distribute this to whom? Respective states and UTs. Any problem here? Online people, any problem here? Online people, any problem here?
No, no, sir.
No, sir.
Please open your mouth and
No,
respond.
sir.
Offline people, any problem here? Now, GST rates in India. After this, I'll give you a break. GST rates in India. Oh, people are laughing. Oh, but now sir will give break. When explaining concept, break means, oh, finally sir is giving break. Wonderful. GST rates in India. 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. 2.5%, 6%, 9%, 14%. Please tell me out of this, which are the rates which has been, what do you call it, prescribed by the government?
So
How many rates are
20
prescribed by the government? 0, 5, 12, 18, 28, 16, 7, 6, 9, 14. All these are rates only, sir. That's what it's. Rate everything is rate only. Tell. The rate that has been prescribed by the department is 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. 28% is on the luxury items. If you buy AC, TV, 28%. If you buy 65-inch TV, means you are duddu party. Then you can pay 28% to me, no? 28%. Some products 18%. Service 18%. So tomorrow if I come under GST, how much money I'll collect extra from you? How much extra? Plus 18% GST I'll charge. So whose pocket the money is going? Your pocket. But who's the remitter of the tax here? I'll be the remitter of the tax. So is the tax going from my pocket or your pocket? Your pocket. So 18% is for some products and services, all 18%. 12%, 5%, and 0%. So 0% rate is there? Yes. Why? Because there are some product, today it is 0%. Tomorrow, only by one notification, they'll make it to 5%. If any product which is not coming under GST at all, to bring under GST, it's a huge procedure. So what they did for those products, they brought under GST, but the rate what they assigned is 0. Changing the rate, just like that we can do it. But bringing a product freshly under GST is a big headache, like petrol. Petrol GST not 0%. Petrol is not coming under GST only. To bring under GST, central government is still struggling with the state government. Because state government has got more money where? In petrol under current system. VAT and CST. Under VAT, they have enjoying super money, they're enjoying. But they don't want to let that money go. So no states are allowing to bring the petrol under GST. Are you able to follow? So petrol is not come under GST. But there's some product who's come under GST, but they've kept the rate 0. Because these could be essential items. For example, milk. What GST will pay in that? Essential item for everybody. You take rich, poor, middleman, everybody, milk is required. So they said, we bring under GST, but rate will keep it 0%. So like that, the government is prescribed for these products, this rate. For these products, this rate. So what is the prescribed rate? 0, 5, 12, 18, 28. One more time. 0, loudly, no energy. 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. Any problem? Now, then what is this 2.5, 2.5? Arey Baba, I told you no. When you're doing intra-state supply within the state, you have to pay half to central, half to state. So whatever the rate is there, half of that has been given. Example of your brother, sister. Millimeter also extra you should not give to your brother and sister. Same way also, central government also same like that only. Both are like proper brothers and sisters. A proper love will go, a proper they'll fight. So in that process, they said very clearly, 50% to you means only 50% to you. Not 1% extra. And 50% to state government. So whatever the rate is prescribed, half of that to CGST, half of that to SGST. So whenever CGST, SGST is coming, it's not two tax rate. The original tax rate is broken down into half. So 5 ka half is how much? 2.5, 2.5. 12 ka half is 6 and 6. 18 ka half is 9 and 9. 28 ka half is 14 and 14. So 14 is not a rate. 14 is half of the original rate. So you never have a GST rate called as 14%. So 14% is not a rate, 9% is not a rate, 6% is not a rate, 2.5% is not a rate. The original data are this. Half of that is resulting into this. So if anybody asks what are the GST rates, you will say 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. Wonderful. Any problem so far? Online people, any problem so far?
No, sir.
Sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now it is 11:49. We'll have a 11 minutes break. We'll come back and start 12 p.m. sharp. Thank you so much. Yes, people, welcome back to the break. So let's continue. So we've completed the discussion on GST rate in India. But before we head forward, there's one important update to be done. Gautam, thank you for correcting. So Gautam said that, sir, Dadra, Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu, prior to 2020, were two different UTs. But in 2020, both of them were merged together and was made a single UT now. So Dadra, Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu both are one UTs, and with that it becomes total how many UTs now? Not 9, it is 8. 3 is with own state legislative assembly, and remaining 5 are without their own state legislative assembly. So 5 here and 3 there. Any problem? Correct. So both the friends are shaking hands. Sir, we were right, sir. 8 we said correct only. But you didn't justify later. How did Gautam do? No, like that you didn't justify. पता भी नहीं था तो तुक्के में मारा ना तो फिर क्या हैंडशेक कर रहे हो तुम लोग बदमाश. Now, advantage of GST will not be discussed now after a practical question that we do. Now, the entire accounting understanding will be communicated through this particular question. So please pay not 100% attention. Give me your 1000% attention, because if this is not understood in next 1 hour, the entire grip on the chapter will be lost. So full concentration here, full concentration here. Manufacturer, retailer, and customer. So how many people in the entire process? 3 people in the entire process. Listen to me very carefully. It's so jolly to do all this. Now, manufacturer, retailer, and here it is, end customer. Why do I call this end customer? Please tell me. Because manufacturer is selling the goods to retailer. For manufacturer, retailer is customer and was. For manufacturer, retailer is customer. For manufacturer, wholesale is customer. So all these are customer only, but these are not end consumer. End consumer is like final consumer. So the word is end consumer. So in between consumer also consumer only. Retail, middlemen, retailers, wholesalers alone, they are also consumers only, but they are not end consumers because they buy with the intention to sell it. End consumer means what? That product when they consume by themselves, that is called as end consumer. Is the logic clear? Is the logic clear? Yes, sir. Deal you forgot, I think. Okay. Let's talk about the manufacturer and the retailer. What does the manufacturer do? What does the manufacturer do? Sell goods. Do you agree with me? Now the manufacturer sold goods worth 1 lakh. 1 lakh is not purchase value. Manufacturer will never purchase. He will manufacture. So manufacturing cost is 1 lakh. Raw material, labor, overheads, everything put together. There will be one manufacturing cost of us. This man, if I'm manufacturing, I will incur material cost, the labor cost, other extra overhead cost. So all this is called as manufacturing cost. So the cost of the manufacturer is 1 lakh rupees. Any problem? Cost price 1 lakh. Will the manufacturer sell the goods only at cost? What will he do? Sir, he will add the profit margin. How much is the profit margin here? Sir, 20,000 rupees is the profit margin. Wonderful. So cost price plus profit is equal to what? Selling price. So what is the selling price here? 1,20,000 rupees is the selling price. 1,20,000 is the selling price. Now manufacturer is selling 1,20,000 worth goods to retailer. Is this right or something else needs to be done? Sir, GST is the tax levied on the supply of goods and services. So this is supply of goods. Manufacturer is supplying goods to the retailer. So this is supply. On this GST has to come. On what value? On the value of the supply. What is the value of the supply here? 1,20,000 is the value of the supply. So with the selling price, I will add GST. And now this becomes as what? This will be called as tax invoice price. Tax invoice price. Selling price is also called as invoice price. This is invoice price without tax. With that, if I add GST, it becomes tax invoice price. It becomes a tax invoice. Invoice which consists of tax, contains tax. So how much is GST? 12% GST. What is the GST rates? 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. So in this, what is the rate? 12% is the rate. And this is, let's suppose, interstate transaction. Let's suppose this is interstate transaction. For interstate transaction, what GST will come into picture? IGST will come into picture. IGST will come into picture. IGST goes to which government? Central government. From that central government in the back end, what they will do? They'll apportion the GST and give to the respective state government. So is it my headache? No. My headache is what? Calculate 12%. So 12%, 12% GST on 120 is how much? 12 12s are 144. So 14,400. So what is the tax invoice price? 134,400. Online people, any problem in this? 134,400. In this, do you have any problem?
No, sir. No,
Everybody
sir.
clear now?
No, sir.
Now, you are accountant of both manufacturer and retailer. So in the books of the manufacturer, first, in the books of manufacturer, please tell me, what is the accounting entry that you will record? What is accounting in the books of manufacturer?
Sale of goods.
The manufacturer is selling goods. And imagine the money's come on spot. So this is cash sale transaction. So cash sale transaction, please tell me, what is the entry that you will record? First of all, how many accounts are affected? Oh, before that, is it a BFT or BFE? BFT or BFE? This is transaction, business financial transaction. Okay. In this transaction, how many accounts are affected? How many accounts are affected? Sir, money is coming, cash in bank is affected. Plus, I'm selling the goods, sale account, income is affected. And GST is coming into picture. GST is affected. So how many accounts? 3 accounts. GST only one GST because we're doing interstate GST, IGST. So only one account. Had it been intra, then how many accounts? 4 accounts. Sale account, cash and bank account, CGST account, SGST account. Now this is IGST. So only one GST is coming into picture. So keeping this in mind, please tell me what is the journal entry for this? Sir, one thing I know very clear, sir. Manufacturer is selling the goods. When the manufacturer is selling the goods, he'll receive money. And you said this is cash transaction. So paisa came into my bank account. How much money came into my bank account? Think and tell me, how much money will the retailer pay to the manufacturer? How to make this ulta? Donkey fellow. I have an idea. I'll put arrow. How much money will the retailer pay to the manufacturer? 1,20,000 or 134,400? Bear in your mind, GST is to be paid by the end customer. You are telling 1,34,400 retailer has to pay. So GST from whose pocket it is going? GST from whose pocket is going for now? Retailer. Now think and tell me, how much should the retailer pay? 134,400 or 1,20,000? Anybody says 120? No, 120 is the wrong answer. You said rightly, 134,400 is the entire money that the retailer has to pay. But sir, what are you talking? You said this 14,400 GST end customer has to pay. Now retailer is paying. What is this? You are right. As of now, retailer is paying temporarily. Later, retailer will sell to customer. No, that time we will take that money from the customer. So that process I'll explain now. So now the middleman, the GST, what they're paying? No, it is a temporary GST that they pay. At the end, the entire burden of the GST, on whose head will break it? Customer only. Ultimate sufferer of GST is whom? Customer. Just wait and watch the game. So in the manufacturer's bank account, how much money is come? 1,34,400. Wonderful. Any problem in this? Online people, any problem? What Z came into between? Funky fellow. 1,34,400. Please tell me, what is the credit? In this 1,34,400, how much is the income of the manufacturer? That will go to sale account. In sale account, we'll record a sale value. So in this, what is the sale value? Selling price, sale value 120. So now 2 sales is 120. Sir, how does the journal over, sir? We'll go to ledger now, sir. What is the thumb rule of the journal? The debit column total, credit column total should be same. What is the total of debit column? 1,34,400. What is the total of credit column? 1,20,000. Can I go to ledger now? One more thing will come where? In credit. What will come? 14,400. What is this? Sir, to 12% IGST account. To 12% IGST account. Don't write it. Now my question goes to all of you. What is the classification of the bank as per the modern rule? Asset. Here, asset you debited. Why? Because it's increasing or decreasing? Sir, increase in asset, debit. Wonderful. As per modern rule, sale, revenue. Revenue of credited. Why? Because it is increasing. What is the classification of IGST 12% here? What is the classification? Credit. Credit. All incomes and gains are. Tell. What is it here? Sir, this is liability. Why do you call this liability? Because the money what manufacturer is getting, in that, without any hesitation, without any problem, you enjoy 120. Nobody will question you. But the day you start enjoying that 14,400, who will come and poke you? Government. Which government? GST department will come and poke you. Nicely. My money, donkey fellow, you are enjoying. No, you can't enjoy. So 14,400, which the manufacturer is having, whose money it is, boss? Government money. So that money which came in, it's coming with the tagline of what? Liability. Means the money which is coming in, it is coming with the intention to go out. The money which is coming inside, it is coming with the intention to go out. Anything that I have to pay in future is liability. This money which is coming in, I have to pay in future. Anything that I have to pay in future is liability. So now please tell me, this 14,400 ka nature is what? It is a liability. And here, the more money I collect, the more is my liability which I have to pay to the GST department. So to increase my liability, what am I supposed to do? Credit. Now, upon purchase, upon sale, both places IGST will come. CGST, SGST will come. So you have to differentiate now. Sale, one type of GST. Purchase, another type of GST. So you have to differentiate now. So they gave a name to this GST called as input GST and output GST. Now this GST which comes at the time of sales, the GST which comes at the time of sale is called as output GST. Why it is called as output GST? Because money is coming in, no sir. Why do you call it as output GST? Arey Baba, don't see that money is coming in. See that this money is coming inside. No, it is going to go outside. So this GST which is coming inside is coming in to go out. Hence it is what GST? Output GST. So I will call this as output IGST. So 12% output IGST. Any problem? Sir, are we supposed to record 12% like this? Yes. Not an exam. And when you go to articleship, you will see the account ledgers of your clients. You'll always see 12%, 6%, 9% rates will be mentioned. Because if you just commonly write output IGST, which percentage what? Nobody will know. So in reality, there will be multiple ledger for all the rates. So 12% output IGST, 12% input IGST, 6% input CGST, 6% output CGST. Like that, ledger's name will be there, multiple ledger names. But in exam point of view, you need not mention the percentage. If you just write output, input, sufficient. And what type of GST you have to mention? C or S, I, you have to mention. Am I clear? So your point is output or input you have to mention. Second is what type of GST it is. What happened, man? Is a phone from inside. Fast.